Good morning. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I welcome you to my weekly Casing the Catalog video and blog. Today I am going to be casing the catalog again from page 40, the Sand and Sea Suite. And last time I did this one, I believe. So this time I'm doing this one, just to give you some idea of how I made it work. It might not be exactly the way it was done, but we're going to see how it comes out. So I started with, let's show you the card. Get that up here so you can see it. That's the finished product. And I started with soft Seaside Spray for the base card. And it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 to make a top fold A2 greeting card. We'll burnish that edge so that it folds nicely. And that's the base card. Layer 1 is also Seaside Spray, and it is cut at 5 by 3 1/4. And I have already embellished it with the Seashells 3D embossing folder. It's not a very good picture, but that's this particular embossing folder. So I put it in and embossed it. And now I am going to use the Craft White ink pad and one of our sponge brayers. And I'm going to ink this up and then I'm going to very lightly roll it over this so that the raised portions get a little bit of white on them. And just keeping it as light as I can. It's not like it has to only get on the raised portions, but you don't want to turn the whole front white. You want to kind of just pick up those highlights. And I don't know if it shows up very well in the video or not, but it gives just a very light white look to the seashells and the leaves and things. I'll do just a little bit more. And it will take a little bit to dry because this is a different type of ink. So it will take a little while to dry. So you're going to want to set that aside for a bit to have it dry. Okay, then I took the Sand and Sea Designer Series paper, and I cut this layer out, and it is 3 1/2 this way by 2 this way, and you can see it's going to go on the front of the card here. Then I used the pearlescent specialty paper, and I cut this piece, and this is using the rectangle stitched dies, and I used the die that measured 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. So I cut this piece of pearlescent 3 by 1 3/4, so it'd be slightly bigger and it wouldn't waste a bunch, and I cut it out. So this die is the one that's 1 1/2 by 2 3/4, and that's from the pearlescent paper, which has that lovely shimmer to it. Then I also used the pearlescent paper, and I stamped the seashell from the stamp set with So Saffron. And then I used my sponge dauber, and I just lightly sponged color to fill it in so that I had a yellow seashell there. And then these, it's really hard to see the coloring on these, but I do have 2 of the little smaller clamshells, and I colored them with, where I colored the stamp itself with sponge daubers and put like pink and then blue, and like I say, the colors aren't showing up really well here, but they show up really well on this one, and so you can see that. And then I used one of the stickers. These are stickers that came with the suite. And you could use all of these if you wanted to, but I only am going to be using one of them. Okay, so then I needed, let's see, which way do I want it to go? I think I want it to go this way on my card. And then I also used the snail mail twine combo, and this is the pink one of that. And I measured this piece, I wrote it down somewhere, find it here. 46 inches is what I needed. So let me do that. There's 24. 46. Because I'm wrapping it around 4 times around this card. So I turned it over, and I'll get my adhesive here. And I just put a little bit on each side to hold the end, and then we can wrap it around. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not a right way or a wrong way to do this. It's just a little bit longer than I needed, but look at that. Worked out good. You can adjust these if you need them to be, you know, like here I've got it looks like it's kind of crooked or whatever, so I can adjust these a little bit so it doesn't look like that. And you can spread them out or move them closer, whatever you want to do. You can kind of play with that a little bit, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so that's going to go on the card front, and it's going to go on with dimensionals. And here we go. So I'm going to put three down each side. And 3 up, oops, up the middle as well, like this, just to give it lots of good support. Today is a cold and chilly morning here in the Pacific Northwest. Woke up to 32 degrees, which isn't as cold as some places, from what I hear, depending on where you live. And so then this is going to go on the card front, and it has that border all the way around because it is cut smaller. Oh, my mistake. On my original, this went underneath like that. So I'm going to put some adhesive on there and do that. And we'll just slide it underneath and it'll be fine. And kind of center it as best I can. There we go. Easy fix. Okay, then this, I stamped the sentiment from the stamp set, and I'm stamping it with Misty Moonlight. And on this pearlescent paper, you do have to be careful to not to stamp straight down and not let it slip, because it's somewhat slippery. And so then you'll get a smeared look. So do it very carefully, press down and then lift up straight up so that you don't get that. Again, this is going to take a little bit of time to dry. Be sure and let it dry before you don't smear it with your fingers or whatever. It's going to get attached with dimensionals as well, and I'm going to just carefully attach those while it's drying, so you don't have to wait for it to dry. You could use your heat tool and maybe speed that up just a little bit so it would dry more quickly. I'm sure that would probably work. And then this just gets set up over that, centered on that piece of designer series paper, just like that. And then the seashells I attached, because the sentiment is attached with dimensionals. You're going to have to put dimensionals on at least a portion of the seashells as well, whatever portion isn't settling on. So kind of off to the edge like that. And then I put some regular adhesive on that other side so that when I stick it down, it sticks like that. And here's the little seashell, the starfish, and we'll put the starfish kind of like this. And I don't know if it really needs a dimensional under there or not. I think it does. So let's do that. I'm gonna sneak it under there. There we go. And then one more seashell up at the top, and it's going to get a dimensional here and a little bit of adhesive on the other part. And it's going to go up here like this. And then that sticker from the stickers, if I can get it to come up, there we go. I'm going to just tuck it behind and stick it down so it just barely peeks out. So there is today's Casing the Catalog project. I hope you enjoyed it. I do sell the products I feature in my videos, and the link to my online store is in the comment section below. I hope that you will consider shopping with me. Thanks for stopping by.